Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank, coming to you from the Business Accelerant Studio. I'm Dan Whedon, along with my co-host Andy Vernon. Today's guest has been Nancy Boss with StudioBos Media. We just had an intriguing and fun conversation with Nancy. To listen to the entire podcast, visit shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle, or you can listen on iHeartRadio. You can still subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. We're always interested in your feedback, so don't forget to rate us. And if you're going to rate us a 5, right, Nancy?
Absolutely.
So, Nancy, I'm guessing a lot of people watching this have no idea what a vocal singing consulting coach would do for a business, especially maybe a small or medium-sized business. Can you talk a little bit about what your work is and what the value is to that company?
Yeah, the value comes down to improving the culture of the organization and the communication between the people that work there. The things that in the culture that might benefit are, well, you're increasing the ability for these people to have fun together and to try out new things. The enjoyment that comes from it, the laughter that comes out one of these sessions, brings up your employee retention numbers. It makes the entire organization just a happier and a willing to be more vulnerable with each other kind of place.
And Nancy, your work goes well beyond that as well, because I had to kind of retrain myself and better understand what a vocal coach would do, because I had my own preconceived notions. But it goes way beyond training people professionally, which you can also do, and into the realm of healthcare and therapy and help for stroke patients, for instance. And I think about this when I think about how I sing to my baby daughter to comfort her, and I sing, "Who's got the chubbiest thighs in West Seattle?" But can you talk about those therapeutic issues?
That's exactly the kind of singing that I'm talking about. It's deep inside of everyone to express ourselves through singing. But we've gotten confused as a culture between a performer and a singer. Everyone is a singer. At an early age, everybody's singing. We don't have to become performers. In fact, the idea of being performer is fairly new, kind of since TV cameras and microphones were invented.
Yeah, and Instagram.
Yeah, and that's changing things too. Now you're a 30-second performer. But with the idea of how neurologically singing benefits us tremendously, physically in the way that we breathe, our blood flow, our energy flow, and then community, how we communicate with each other. Your daughter, I bet she smiles when you're having fun.
She
smiling
does. It comforts her tremendously.
And so
when she's a teenager, she'll be horrified at the song, but otherwise.
She'll still attach joy to it. It'll just be at your expense. Yeah.
So, speaking of Andy's daughter, you talked in the podcast about 3-year-olds and that all 3-year-olds can sing. Yeah. Talk a little bit about moving past 3-year-olds when we start getting into children and young adults, and why confidence is such an important part in also being an entrepreneur.
You know, confidence is a huge part of going to middle school. And that's a time when a lot of young people lose their interest in singing because of the vulnerability that we put with singing. And vulnerability is something that also relates to us as adults. We are oftentimes scared to sing for fun, because it makes us feel vulnerable, and our heart rates go up and our breath goes up, and it's just crazy feeling. And if you can conquer that feeling of vulnerability, whether it's for your entrepreneurial business or your creative needs, then that can really pay off with dividends in the rest of your life.
And that part of that would be being judged as well, right?
Being judged, absolutely. At some point, everybody's had somebody who's judged them either positively or negatively, and it affects the course of their lives.
Yeah, I can see how that would help build confidence to be able to sing better. We want to thank Nancy for joining us. Nancy, how can our listeners get in touch with you and learn more about what you do?
My website is StudioBos.com, which is STUDIOBOS.com, or just email me at nancy@StudioBos.com.
Well, once again, this is just a taste of what you can expect by listening to the entire podcast. Visit shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle, or listen to us on iHeartRadio. Subscribe to us on iTunes. We would love to hear from you. Thanks to all of our shrimp peeler sponsors, our Business Accelerant Studio sponsor, and all of you listeners and followers.
Our next show from the Business Accelerant Studio will be Wednesday, July 10th, when our guest will be Peter Crabtree, serial entrepreneur Peter Crabtree with Crabtree Brands. Please join us then.
But for now, well, you know what, Nancy? Let's break habit. Let's get a. Can you help us send
Let's
us out?
have a little fun with
Let's
this.
have a little
Let's
fun. Help us out.
Practice what we're preaching.
Why
Let's
don't I
see.
kick things
You got
off
an opening? Ooh,
away.
In the shrimp tank, the mighty shrimp tank, the hay is in the barn. In the shrimp tank, the mighty shrimp tank, the hay is in the barn. One more time. In the shrimp tank, the mighty shrimp tank, the hay is in the barn.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in a shrimp tank.